the sad news that we all heard early doors on Sunday, the sad passing of Ricky the Hitman Hatton. I think it shook everyone, really, to be honest. Very much like the Jota one, it was unexpected. He sadly passed away, and reports were saying at 06:45 in the morning. And on behalf of everyone here in Blue Steel and Inside the Tower podcast, we send our condolences to Ricky's family, friends, loved ones, and the fans as well. Um, just another one, isn't it? It's just another one gone too soon, and it seems to be happening all too often these days. I mean, what can we say about the man? He's just an absolute living legend, one of the lads, so to speak, and he was so humble and stuck with his mates that he's grew up with as well. There's so many stories coming out which really show what type of bloke he was and how nice he was, and such a kind-hearted lad as well.
I think it's weird, isn't it? I think you can tell how much of a genuine person someone is by when you don't know them and you feel like you know them.
Mm.
I think that was the way everyone felt with Ricky because I've never met him, never met the bloke, never seen him anywhere, and yet you feel like he's a mate. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, like you said, all the stories that are coming out, they're all brilliant. Like, and everyone just says how much of a humble man he was, and how he just wanted to be remembered like one of the lads, which he was really, wasn't he? But yeah, very very sad, and like you said, everyone felt it. I felt it. I didn't even know him. But so sad. It just shows how much money people can have and how the persona of how much of an amazing life they've got, and when really deep down inside that they're hurting and in a really bad way. And it just, I think, echoes the fact that lads should speak out, should, text your mates, see how they are, because someone could be fighting that silent fight that no one knows about.
Yeah, that's the thing, and he's been open about his struggles over the years. I've followed Ricky Hatton; he's been one of my heroes all my life, boxing and whatnot. And and see him the way he was, and he struggled. He tried to make a comeback, and it just wasn't there. And after the Mayweather and Pacquiao, I think the Mayweather one really shook him hard afterwards, and he was struggling. But everyone was saying that his family have come out with a statement today and said, he was in good spirits. He was going over to Dubai soon to have that
He was
exhibition.
training, wasn't he? Yeah, he was training for fight.
Yeah, yeah, and he had one was last year or the year before, and he was going over there with his family and the kids, and that we're going to watch him first time live. So we'll know more as it comes out. I mean, if you read between the lines, it looks like sadly, he's probably took his own life. Or I was thinking originally, is he's been training too hard and he's had a heart attack or something. But yeah, it's such. I mean, he went to Tenerife for holidays and he was always out and about. I've got friends who have met him and been with him. He's such a nice bloke. And one of my mates shared a photo of him and Ricky Hatton. He's got a Liverpool shirt on. And Ricky said he'd never take a photograph with someone in a Liverpool shirt, and obviously he did. And then he met him again 5 years later, and he remembered him. So it just shows the bloke. He wasn't flash, you know what I mean? He's just a lad, wasn't he? Just a normal bloke. Um, what are your thoughts, Rich? When you got the news, like?
Yeah, like everyone else, it was a shock. I'm obviously a lot closer to his age. Um, he's only got a couple of years on me, but yeah, it was one like yourselves. I never met the bloke, but I do know people from when I used to work in and around the Stockport area that have met him. And they all said the same thing. He was just you bump into him in the local supermarket or out walking the dogs, and as long as you weren't going up to him trying to cause problems, he'd stop and have a chat with you and happy, you walk past and say hi you, and he was just a general nice, down to earth person. And yeah, as you say, unfortunately, I had the struggles, especially when he retired from boxing. I think that's when a lot of his troubles did start to kick in, certainly when they became knowledgeable to the public. But even if you take away that side, and even at that point, he was still working with people in his local community, whether it be local boxing people or just trying to help other people out with, you know, not necessarily boxing, but people use boxing for fitness and that type of thing, don't they? He was working with those guys. So yeah, From what I know of him, what I've heard of him, do know people who have met him. Genuine nice bloke, and yeah, gone too early.
Yeah, Liam.
Exactly the same, really. I've got a friend who's from Hyde actually, and he's just known for a local as a local hero, and he's someone we can relate to. We say that quite often, don't we, when we have a person from a sports background who's just come up through the ranks. I think he won a medal, I think at 17 at Commonwealth Games or something, and then he just went on from strength to strength. Really, really just down to earth bloke, hard work, and I read the story. His parents built him a boxing gym or a gym in the pub. Grew up in a pub scene, you know what I mean? He was always just one of the lads, wasn't he? He never lost himself in that. But I think regardless of speculation, I don't know how he's passed. I'm sure that will come out in the future. But regardless, I think one thing it highlights is, as Adam kind of said, doesn't matter what you've got. But one thing it is important is keeping those who are really close to you around. I know all these troubles are out there, and that's probably really hard to do. I wouldn't all want my dirty washing out there, and that's the problem with being a professional sports person, is that you don't have a private life, do you? You really don't have any time to really just be yourself, because there's always someone who wants a photo, there's always someone who wants something, and he probably gave too much, maybe, and that's why it kind of went from worse to worse in that sense. But he seems to be on the comeback. And it was really nice to hear that he was, exhibition fighting the end of the year. I think it was something everyone was looking forward to. And as he said himself, he took 20,000 fans out to Vegas multiple times. He's always the most followed boxer when I was growing up. And he was just a fantastic, fantastic boxer. That Kostya Tszyu fight was just next level. Next level. And don't forget he wobbled Mayweather. I know he lost in the end, but he wobbled him, first person to really kind of put the fear in him.
I remember that fight. The referee would not let Hatton get the inside.
No, he wouldn't.
Every time he was stopping. And I remember watching it, and the referee comes in and speaks to him before the fight, and he's like, blah 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 blah. And I remember them saying, just let Ricky have his fight, let him have his fight. And he always got in the inside, and he was stopped every time. And he did wobble. He had Mayweather wobbled, and I was like, wow, okay. And then, it's just refereeing. Yeah, there's some poor refereeing and poor judging in boxing, but it's a real shame. But that Kostya Tszyu fight, that was the moment, wasn't it?
He literally said he broke him as well. Kostya Tszyu said that he broke me, he quit on his stool, didn't he? Which doesn't happen especially at a world champion, to get that badly beaten. He was a bulldog, one in the ring. He just that left hook to the body was what he's renowned for. I'm sure he broke many a ribs of the opposition and the opposing fighter. And you know what, City fan or not, that other weekend I think was a really wonderful moment again. I know, as you said at the start, Chris, about the Jota, it was it just kind of felt around the footballing world. This, I think, has been felt across the boxing world, but also wider afield, because he was just a genuinely nice bloke again. And we need to keep saying that about all these people who are leaving us a bit too early from the professional sports, or even actors and actresses and all that, who die too young, and they leave a lasting legacy and a lasting memory that inspire us as general public to kind of keep going and wonder what could be. And I think it does make you sometimes just take a step back and review and see what's important. And again, as you said, it's so sad, really. But I suppose we all got to enjoy the best of him when he was boxing. And and let's hope that their memories never fade, because he was a true hero, I think. And I think that was felt locally in Manchester and wider afield. So yeah,
Well,
rest in peace to the hitman.
He did bring the red side and blue side of Manchester together. Rooney brought out his belts once as well. But it does just highlight, doesn't it, that sometimes you've got to check in now and again with people. And I think men are the worst, aren't they? It's just like, we don't talk about things enough, and people don't want to open up sometimes, and you can't really always force people, but